Happy Friday night, guys, and welcome to the Pre-Scout as we are live every single weeknight at 10 p.m. Eastern. Except for I can't really say we are live because I'd be lying to you. This is a pre-recorded video. You guys are watching us at 10 p.m. Eastern, or of course, recorded afterwards. But this is a recorded video. Carm and I, we got to watch the Blue Jays. It's Friday night. We got plans, but we have really taken a deep look into the Saturday slate in the NHL. And this is what we do on Friday night on the Pre-Scout. We take a look at the next day. And Carm, I really appreciate you joining me here today. Of course, second time having you on my new show. And Saturday, let's face it, it's always the best day of the week in hockey.
It is some great games on the schedule for Saturday, and it all kicks off with the Bruins and the Hurricanes. So at 1 o'clock, so you can't go wrong. You got games all through the day. 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock. This is my time, Andrew, not yours, but 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. 7 o'clocks, and then we finish with a couple 10 o'clock games. So if you're a hockey fanatic, you got a ton of stuff to get you through the day on
So we'll
Saturday.
touch on a little bit of everything. We'll talk about some of the games. Some games we'll have more opinions on than others. And of course, whether it be hockey plays, whether it be football plays, whether it be European football plays, you can get all of Carmine's action, of course, at WagerTalk.com and myself as well, WagerTalk.com. All right, Carm. First game of the day, you mentioned it. Boston Bruins are always handed these early day games. You did your 6 and 60, so I'm trusting you to be extra prep for these some of these games here with some of the Saturdays. But we talk about unders in early games. How do you feel about that here with this game? The Boston Bruins defense hasn't been looking fantastic lately, and really their goalies aren't performing very well. But I'm seeing a 6 as the total. And this game actually opened up as minus 195 favorites for the visiting team, and it's gone down to about 185, 190. But this Hurricanes team's been traveling around a little bit. What do you think here?
I'm not honestly the full game total, Andrew, is one that I'm likely not going to touch because I don't know what version of the Bruins we get. I don't know what version of the Carolina team that we get with these matinee games. They always something always weird seems to happen, but it is part of this game. Actually was part of the 6 and 60, and I took the first period over 1.5 in the 6 and 60. The Bruins this season, 13 games have gone over in the first period, 10 of 13 times. So 10 and 3 to the first period over, and that includes 6 and 2 on home ice. So if you've been betting Bruins over 1.5, and it doesn't have to be the Bruins scoring the goals, it can be the other team, and it's likely going to be Carolina on Saturday afternoon. Then that is a good one to take. You know, the other oddity, and this is one where it's a profitable number, Andrew, but it's one that I don't want to take because they're playing Carolina. But the Bruins are now 7-1 at home on their team total.
Yeah, they're scoring way more at home.
Yeah.
Way more.
Yeah. So the team total likely in this one for the Bruins is 2.5. With a total of 6, it's likely 2.5. I can't take it. I just can't take it because because I have, if I thought the game was going to go over 6, I would likely take the Bruins team total and see if they could get to 3. But I'm not entirely sure they can do that. This could be one of those ones where we get a couple early goals, and you've talked about in the past. The first period goes over, the game total stays under. And this feels like one of those ones. I'm not going to touch the game total. I'm going to take the first period over 1.5.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like the Bruins, they scored, they beat the Buffalo Sabres 4-3, but the Sabres actually played a really good game. I feel like the Sabres actually deserved better in that game. Like you said, they're scoring more goals early on. I'm right there with you with that play. And I think that if we do want to look towards some type of play on the Hurricanes, maybe you hope that the Bruins go up early because their best period at home has been the first period. Maybe you see, hey, first goal is the Bruins. You get this Carolina Hurricanes team to be able to bet them live. You know, taking a look at this Hurricanes team, though, some of the games they've had lately, Carm, it's been a really big blend. Like they were on the road for a little while, then they were at home. But I find it weird. They had the West Coast road trip against the Sharks, Ducks, Kings, Golden Knights, Avalanche, Stars, and then they come home and play one home game, and all of a sudden, hey guys, you played one home game. Now we're sending you back out on the road again. That seems a bit tricky as well. So maybe the dog could be alive. Maybe this could be an early day, early start live dog spot. But I do like your first period over. I do lean that way. But the scheduling is kind of weird, man. They had a bunch of road games. They come back home for just one game, and all of a sudden they're like, "Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
You're back. You're back again on the road."
Are the Canes wearing? I don't even know, but this seems like the perfect game for the Canes to wear, like the old Hartford Whalers, the third jersey and stuff. I'm not sure if this is that is the game for it, but we saw the Oilers use the old jersey the other night, so I think a lot of teams are going to those third uniforms in and around the end of October and early November. So we'll see if that holds true for them. I love those old Hartford Whaler ones. And we saw the Colorado Avalanche donning the Quebec Nordiques
Yep, that's
jerseys
cool.
as well too. So which was pretty cool. But
Next one up here,
we'll
Carm.
we'll see.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No, fire away, man. Fire away. Let's go.
Next one up here, Winnipeg and Pittsburgh. Look, Pittsburgh is going to drive both of us crazy this year, and I keep talking about it on Puck Time. If you look at the teams that are just playing well and surprising us, and you keep taking them, you're going to have success. Well, that's kind of been the case here with Pittsburgh. But look, I think that we've seen this Winnipeg team kind of transform into not as much of a consistent under team over the past couple years. And specifically this season, we've seen them scoring more goals. This is a game where I actually look towards the over. I think that, Pittsburgh, their offense is showing up, but the expected goals against numbers, they cannot sustain those numbers. This team is bottom of the barrel on expected goals against every single game they play in, every single week since this season has begun. We just saw Winnipeg put up a 6-piece on the Blackhawks. I see no reason why their offense won't show up. And this one is an early start game as well, early evening game. I see goals in this one. But hey, some people at this point, Carm, we have to be aware of it, might just say, you know what? Why are we going to continue to overlook this Pittsburgh team? But the way I'm not overlooking them is by hoping that they'll contribute to the over. So I like the over here. I think Pittsburgh contributes, but I think Winnipeg is a team that can get some goals on them.
Yeah, I think Winnipeg will. Pittsburgh is a team I've been watching, and I haven't really tried to fade them. I've taken, I faded them against the Philadelphia Flyers. That worked out well for me. In that one of their few losses, they're first place in the Eastern Conference, but
Yeah.
the mighty will fall. Crosby and Malkin can't continue to put up these numbers, Andrew. And this was part of the 6 and 60 on the Friday show. I honestly see a losing streak coming up for Pittsburgh. I don't want to be that guy that hates on the Penguins, but they've been playing at a level above what everyone expected, and probably themselves as well too under their new coach. But you look at it, and up next for this Pittsburgh team, if I can just quickly bring up their games, Andrew, these are 5 tough games for them. They're in Winnipeg. Then they go to Toronto a couple days later, travel to Toronto. Then they're home to face the Washington Capitals, the New Jersey Devils, and then on the back-to-back after facing the Devils, they come home to face the LA Kings. And the Kings can prove to be a very difficult team to play with. I honestly don't see them winning more than one game. I actually think it's a 5-game losing skid coming up for Pittsburgh, and it starts with this Winnipeg game. So Winnipeg in regulation will likely be on my card for Saturday for clients. I'm not sure whether it'll be a 2% or a 3%. It'll be on there. And if that wins, then I'm just going to double up again and take the Leafs, and then take New Jersey, and then and we'll see how it goes for me. But I have a feeling that the end is near for this team. And I think sportsbooks kind of feel the same way, because their points total really hasn't been adjusted much, maybe 3 points 4 points, and that's despite a tremendous start to the season in which they have 18 points, and and their season point total was only 78.5.
Yeah. I mean, nobody saw this coming. And we kept on saying bad teams don't know they're bad yet, but holy shit, man, this team, somebody tell them they're bad because they've looked pretty good so far. But to your point, once they start losing, they're probably going to keep on losing. And I would say, I love the team totals, but specifically with this Pittsburgh team, if anybody wants to avoid juice, I think when you fade this Pittsburgh team, a lot of games they lose, Carm, they're probably going to give up 4 goals, I bet.
Yeah, and the thing with the point totals not being adjusted too much is because I think they know, and as a collective, whether the risk manager, sports books, people in hockey know that this is likely the year in which the Pittsburgh Penguins will be sellers at the trade deadline, and they'll try and accumulate assets. So if they weren't a seller, it's a completely different story because you have all of those players playing for the full season. You adjust the points total. But come March or the trade deadline, or even before that, if they start moving players and bringing guys up from their AHL squad to play for them, they're going to go in a downward spiral. They're going to lose a lot of games. Unfortunately, it's not the next man up mentality. It is, okay, we gave our fans something to cheer about, but now let's go out and get McKenna in that first round draft pick. So
you just got to see. The big question is how long it lasts. I know that Canadiens fans, as well as other teams like Colorado and different teams, praying that Pittsburgh has a chance of getting rid of Crosby. Every time that Pittsburgh wins, it hurts a little bit of their soul because at this point we don't think Crosby's going to get traded, but all it takes is one loss. Carm, this Predators team, I mean, looking over the numbers here with this Preds team, it's hard to even think anything nice to say about them. 4-1 loss for them against the Flyers, 5-2 loss against the Bolts. The only thing I can look at when I see this number is, hey, the books have faith in them because I saw the early opener on this one, was like minus 130, but some spots are already laying a little bit of money towards this Preds team. It was a 2-game road trip for the Calgary Flames. The one thing I can say about this Flames team into this matchup against Nashville, they haven't really scored a ton. Like, they found their scoring touch a little bit in their last 2 games, but they haven't really scored a ton. So Nashville's going to be frustrated. Maybe they can suffocate them defensively. I used to think last game road trip meant overs, and I know it's, only a couple games here for Calgary, but I kind of lean towards the under. In any game we get a good effort out of Nashville, I think we're probably going to see an under. This is what this team is. I hate to say it, but I think you've been saying it on Puck Time, man. Tampa Bay was right about their Steven Stamkos decision. He has not looked good in a Predators uniform. So I think if Nashville gives us a good effort tonight, it's going to be or Saturday, it's going to be because of their defense. I like the under here.
Yeah, I've been on the last 3 Nashville games, and I've been on the right end of them. I took the Dallas Stars against them, and they won. I took Tampa Bay against them, and they won. And it was more the situation for Tampa and Dallas, teams that were mired in losing streaks, won a game, and then I always take a good team to come out and not always take, but if the price is right, I take a team to come out and double up and win a second game in a row. And then the Flyers, the last game against the Flyers, the Flyers are playing well at home. But the thing here, Andrew, is I watched that whole game. Nashville played so well for the first 30 minutes of that game. And then the Flyers they went from sleepwalking to they just started playing extremely well. Vidar kept them in the game. And then the players stepped it up, and once they got ahead by a couple of goals, it's tough for Nashville to come back. The game against Tampa Bay, 5-2 final, that's not indicative of the scoreline. So you look at them, it's a Nashville team that won a couple of games in a row, lose a tough one to Dallas 3-2, lose another one to Tampa, in which the scoreline's a little inflated, and then played a very good half game against Philadelphia. I think it's going to be, if they replicate that, it's going to be enough to beat this Calgary Flames team.
Hopefully they can do it, guys. If you're enjoying the video, hit the like button, and you can find Carmine and myself 11 a.m. Eastern every single weekday on Puck Time. Hopefully, of course, if you're watching this, you're watching Puck Time every day as well. All of you guys that are here tuning in live, appreciate it. Once again, mostly on Fridays. If I do pre-recorded shows, those are the days that we'll be doing it. Or if we have a guest and the guest wants to have some plans on a Friday night, we'll make sure we pre-record as well. But Carm and I, we're both cheering on the Jays. And hopefully when you guys are watching this video, the Blue Jays are World Series champions, or else it will just look weird. So hopefully they just win it and it all works out. So, all right, Carm, next couple here, Colorado, San Jose. It'll be second half of back-to-back for Colorado. We'll see if we see any type of flat spot for them against San Jose after a big game against Vegas. I think a lot of that's kind of indicative of how they perform against Vegas. So time will tell with that one. But I'll tell you, I mean, this San Jose team has been able to score. They've been putting up goals against anybody. Wouldn't shock me if they were able to contribute to some scoring as well. Maybe a first period over in that, or both teams to score first period. San Jose has been really exciting. That might be a game for player props as well for me. So I don't have much on that game, obviously, because we haven't seen the result of the Colorado game just yet.
No, we haven't. San Jose's 7-4 to the first period over thus far this season. Colorado's like 5-1. So not the greatest numbers there if you're looking at trying to bet like the first period overs and make money. And then as far as first period money lines, because it's something that I always like looking at and seeing how a team does. Colorado's been much better this season than they were last year. They were one of the worst teams in the first period of games. This year, they are, after 20 minutes, they've led one more time. They've led 4, they've trailed 3 times, and they've been tied in the other 4 games, half a unit down as far as they go. And San Jose is pretty much in the middle of the pack there as well too. I can't seem to find them, but 3-3-5 for them. So there's not much there. The problem with this, Andrew, is I don't know what we're getting out of the San Jose Sharks. I went 1-1 the other night, win with the Flyers, and then I had New Jersey in regulation after allowing 8 goals to the Colorado Avalanche, and they come to San Jose, and San Jose just peppered them. Get out to a 3-0 lead. It was 5-1 at one point. I'm like, okay, I can go to sleep because there's no way the Devils are coming back in this one. It's such an exciting game for them. They played so well that I don't know how they do it 2 in a row. This is a stacked Colorado team. So,
and San Jose actually ranks number 7 as far as their 7th worst in expected goals for. So it's kind of crazy. Yeah. They're putting up chances. So it kind of tells me, looking at those numbers, there's no way they can sustain this. Like Celebrini's getting hat tricks. Will Smith's looking great. Some of these older players are chipping in. But isn't that kind of shocking to you, Carm? They're the 7th worst team in expected goals.
Yeah,
and it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. And I'm not worried about the late great Dave Koken used to talk about the Vegas flu and how teams fared after they left Colorado, or after they left Vegas. Colorado's done this trip many times before. LA to a short stop after that, Anaheim and San Jose. So it's a 4:00 Eastern time game. It's a 4:00 Eastern time game tomorrow. Those times to me don't matter at all. And a second of a back-to-back, this is a very good team. They can score goals. If they get ahead, it's lights out for the Sharks. So probably Avs in regulation for me.
Yeah, I think that, especially if they do well against Vegas, people are going to think it could be a flat spot, but it's hard to really see a flat spot when it comes to a team like the Avalanche, led by a bunch of great leaders. Next game up here, we've got just small favorites here, being the Florida Panthers, Dallas Stars on the road. This is an underdog that I like here, Carm. I like the Stars in this one. I know Florida's getting their act together a bit. We also know that Florida is a little bit rested in this game, so they do have the rest advantage. Total 5.5. I think we see a bounce back effort from this Stars team. Disappointing effort from them offensively. It's so weird with the firepower they have. They haven't really been able to find the back of the net consistently enough. but I think they match up well enough against the Panthers, and they do have more goal scorers, that this is probably the first dog of the day that I'm really interested in.
Yeah, I think it's a coin flip on taking either one of these sides, just because Dallas can play well on the road, and sometimes you get a few wins under your belt after a losing streak, and it's something that sort of propels you forward. I always like these first period overs. This is one of the games where I don't,
Okay.
because the Florida Panthers, oddly enough, 11 games the Florida Panthers have played this season, 9 of them have gone under 1.5.
Ooh. No
So they're
offense.
9
No.
and 2 to the under. Yeah, it's comes with Barkov being out. Comes with Matthew Tkachuk being out. I get it's the next man up mentality, but when a team struggles, what do the coaches do to get back into the win column? You focus on defense, and these are two teams that in the middle of the season are normally very good defensive teams. But early on, we haven't seen much as far as scoring in first periods with Florida games. So 9 and 2 to the under. I'll take the under 1.5.
I like that. Everybody loves the first period overs, but hey, there's always got to be time for the first period unders as well. And despite Dallas coming off a poor offensive effort, like you said, I think both these teams, to their true identities, are defensive teams. So hopefully we'll see that. All right, so now we get into the little bit of a later slate. 7:07 your time, Eastern start. We got Toronto, Philadelphia, Ottawa, Montreal, Washington, Buffalo, St. Louis, and Columbus, Vancouver, Minnesota, all playing in the same time frame there. The Montreal one is interesting, I'll say, because it's the first game back after a road trip. So I'm curious your thoughts on that with my Habs. I think I already know what you think. And then Toronto, Philadelphia. This is one of those things here, Carm. I was on Columbus. I faded the Leafs. Primo was in net. I'll tell you, though, if you can find a 6 or 6.5, I like the under here, because you know what? This Maple Leafs team right now is struggling to score. And I also feel like, based on the number of goals they've let in recently, their coach, Berube, is going to want to, hey, guys, we're going to have a defensive effort. It's okay. It's Saturday night hockey. We've got some superstars. Austin Matthews does not look the same against Mitch Marner. I don't care what any Leafs fan wants to tell us, Carm. This team looks a little bit different. So Philadelphia and Toronto, I kind of like the under in this one.
Yeah, I think this is one of those ones, Andrew, the Philadelphia one, that is first period over, full game under.
Okay.
If the 6.5s are there, because the Leafs are, at least as far as the first period goes, 3 away games, they've gone over the total. But you're absolutely right. You look at this Toronto team, and even the games in which they win, when you look at the box score, you're like, who are these guys that scored? Because you're expecting to see Austin Matthews, you're expecting to see Matthew Nyes, and Nyes is scoring. You're expected to see William Nylander, and it's not. It is other guys who are getting some of the scoring. Max Domi. When Max Domi scores 2 goals to get you the win against the Calgary Flames, 4-3 or whatever I think that final score was, something's up, because Max isn't. I'm sorry, no disrespect to the Domi family, Ty or Max, but I'm not going to call him hands of stone, but he's not there. He's there to be a character guy, to offer grit, to score some goals, but not to be the prime goal scorer on the team. So we shall see with this team. So
what about my Habs? You like them?
Yeah, I think it's a rivalry against this Ottawa team. Montreal's just playing extremely well right now, especially, and that's a 6-60 play. First period Montreal money line.
First period.
Yeah, 11 games. They've had the lead in 6. They've pushed 4 after 20 minutes. They've only trailed in 1 game after 20 minutes. A strong starting team. They're playing well, and when you're winning, you feel like you can go out there. And I get it. Ottawa's scoring a lot of goals and beating some teams, but it's a rivalry game. These two teams do not like each other. And the Habs are going to be pumped up for this one.
I think they are as well. I think they're going to get a good defensive effort out of Montembeault, or in front of Montembeault, because he hasn't been playing well. So I think they have his back early on. So I feel like that's the way to go. If you like the Habs, I think you go with what Carm's saying there in the first period. And I do think this game could be an under as well. But one thing that worries me, Carm, with this matchup, forget about Habs and Leafs, because they're both the teams kind of rebuilt at the same time. It's the Senators and the Habs that kind of have that rivalry. So you know what that means: penalties, power plays, power play goals. So that could kind of alter a total a little bit. I wonder if there's ever going to be a time, Carm, we can have like a book setting 5-on-5 goals over under, like, even strength over under goals. Because there's some games where like half the goals are power play goals. Like you're seeing a game that you thought you handicapped well. You took the under of a game, but both teams got like 6 power plays. Well, you didn't exactly handicap an under with that many power plays. So that's kind of how I feel about that one. But I'm with you there. This one's kind of interesting with Washington Buffalo, because it's a pick here in this one. Washington, we talked about it on Puck Time today. Back-to-back bad efforts for them. They give up 7 goals against Ottawa, and then they're shut out against Dallas. Lately, I've been saying whenever a number looks weird, take the team it looks weird on. But I'll tell you what, if we get a good performance out of Washington today against the New York Islanders, which I think we will, and people watching this will know, I think you take them again. It's kind of like what you were saying with fading Pittsburgh. I think when Washington bounces back, and Washington, based on my records, as a pretty good second half of a back-to-back team.
Yeah, I look at it a couple ways. And Washington's a much better team than the Sabres are, and I get it. The Sabres are scoring goals right now. This was again one of the 6 and 60 plays, taking Washington in the first period, and that's mainly based on the fact that the Sabres have been miserable in the opening 20 minutes. They played 11 games, and they've only had the lead in 1 game after 20 minutes. They've trailed in 5, and they've been tied in 5. The Sabres are becoming very good at, and this is a bad habit to get into, of accumulating loser points.
Yeah.
And loser points are those, you lose in OT and you pick up 1 point. When they missed the playoffs, where it was against the New York Islanders, the Islanders had like 15 loser points. The Sabres already have, or Sabres had like 5 or something like that. It is, you have to get better at winning games in overtime. You need full points. Every time you drop a point in overtime, you're, especially to a conference rival, you're getting that farther away from them making the playoffs at the end of the season. The points are too much to make up. Sabres are scoring. Pekka Luukkonen is back. Alex Lang is playing extremely well, but the Sabres team does not have, Andrew, that finish. They don't have that killer instinct. And because they don't, if they had the killer instinct, they would have beaten the Leafs in both games. And in spite of that, they gave up a lead in the second game after winning the first one. It goes to OT, and 93-year-old John Tavares, skating at 12 miles an hour, goes in on a breakaway and scores the game-winning goal. It's just the way it is. The Sabres.
And I had team total for the Leafs, Carm, so thank God that he scored there.
You could not be giving up points, and this is why I was so surprised at the beginning of Puck Time when we talked about it at the start of the season, that there were forecasters out there calling for the Sabres to make the playoffs. I don't see it, but
that's a shocking statement. People looking at the Sabres to do something good. That's for sure. Yeah. This team is going to be better this year. And I think units wise too, they're going to catch some underdog tickets. And I love what you said, because we don't want to talk about it too much, but that's such a good point about overtime, because everybody will say, hey, well, at least we got 1 point. It's like, no, you need the 2, because once it comes down to the end of the year, when you see all those loser points add up, you're going to think to yourself, how many of those loser points could have been 2 points? And people don't realize that regulation wins are actually a tiebreaker. When it's head-to-head first, and then it's regulation wins are very important. Speaking of regulation wins, can this St. Louis Blues team get a regulation win. Because you know what? This is a team that I'm high on. I think that they're better than they're performing, Carm, and their analytics say that they're better than they're performing. Looking at expected goals on the season, they rank number 5 in expected goals. Now, are they just lacking talent? Are they lacking the finishing ability? Or is this maybe a team that they can do it against, as they have the Columbus Blue Jackets that are hosting them? One stat that somebody commented, I believe it was in either my YouTube chat or on Puck Time, that Columbus has a phenomenal record as a favorite. And in the Leafs game, they opened up as a dog, but they closed as a favorite against the Leafs, which told you all you had to know about that game against the Maple Leafs. But I could be falling for the bait here, Carm. I like this St. Louis Blues team. This is one of those dogs that I like here. Are we on the same page, or are we head to head?
No, I think I still believe that they're the better team. Now, because you're the better team doesn't mean that you're going to win. But it's a starting point. And then you look at, okay, we're the better team, but how are they playing right now? Are they in form? How are they playing on the road? Are they scoring goals? Are they meeting their XG numbers or surpassing them? Are they getting lucky? Puck luck? A lot of that comes into it. The weird thing about these two teams is they've pretty much flip-flopped numbers from like last season. Last season, Columbus at home was almost an auto bet to the over all season long. I'm just going to bring this up real quick, Andrew. The 2025 season at home, Columbus was the second best record at home, 27, 13, and 1 to the over, plus 12.45 units. Only the Chicago Blackhawks, 25, 11, and 5, and plus 12.65 units, so 0.2 units more at home with their overs, but they're only 4-6 thus far this season. St. Louis 8-3 to the over. I wish this was a 6, and I get it. The Columbus games are at home are normally going to be like 6.5s, but the Blues seem to be scoring some goals. I think Columbus gets theirs. I would go over 6.5 in this one.
Yeah, maybe that's the look. Maybe I don't try and catch a falling knife with the Blues, and I just take the over. Even in games they're scoring, they're getting scored on as well. Good stuff there with those numbers there on Columbus, Carm. And the second that you read off the over numbers, I was like, maybe I won't take the Blues, but the over kind of stands out to me. All right, Carm, I don't want to keep you too long, as I appreciate you hopping on here with me and didn't give you much notice for doing this video with me. Couple of games
missing my afternoon. I'm missing my afternoon nap, but that's fine.
Vancouver, Minnesota, New Jersey, LA, Chicago, Edmonton, the Rangers, Seattle. Forget about the nap, Carm. A couple beers will get you just wide awake. Just don't get the red wine too early, man. That's the key. You can't have the red wine too early for the game. But anything for you on these two games, Vancouver, Minnesota, and Jersey and LA. I know this Minnesota team, they're just draining units. They're draining units from everybody. And when I talk about expected goals for, people might not believe me. This team is number 4 in the league in expected goals for, and they burnt me again against the Pittsburgh Penguins. It goes to show, Carm, is it the talent that's suffocating, or is it just like Yanni the Greek always says, there's 82 games. You're going to regress or progress. And I think that maybe this Minnesota team hasn't reached their potential. The problem is the books realize that as well. So they keep giving us bad prices on Minnesota. It's very interesting. So I'm curious your thoughts on that one with Minnesota. Vancouver right now, though, they're struggling to score. And then Jersey and LA.
Yeah, so we'll start with this one here. It's very rare that I don't have an opinion on a game. But this is one I do not want to play, and maybe the opinion is just that: is that I am not willing to play or pay $1.70 on Minnesota the way they're playing right now. And then you would think, okay, well, then why don't you just take the plus 140 on Vancouver, because they're equally as bad. They're just not scoring goals. The game against the Rangers, they had 10 shots through a period and a half. You're not going to win many games when you're not getting shots on goal. That's just the way it is. So that game is an absolute pass for me, Andrew. Where do you want me to go to next? New
Well, I
Jersey
mean,
and
it's
LA?
just crazy. Like the opening number in that one being what it was, minus 166, money coming in on this Minnesota team. Be very interesting to see. But at the end of the day, which team is more of a fade right now, Minnesota or Vancouver? So we'll see. All I know is that maybe, just maybe, I'll look towards some type of team total under for Vancouver because I have decided that when Minnesota breaks out, it's not going to be because of their offense. It's going to be because of their defense. So that's what I'd look towards. New Jersey and LA. I'm going to go ahead with the road team here. This price to me, the way New Jersey's been playing hockey right now, this is a team that I trust. And we've seen it. Like they have had some down spots. And their most recent game was just embarrassing how many goals they gave up, but also the XG numbers too. San Jose is continuously surprising people. And I think when New Jersey takes a punch, they're able to respond. So I'll probably find a way to bet on New Jersey. So that's what I like in that one. And then Chicago, Edmonton, I'll tell you what, minus 300, Carm. Come on, man. Minus 300.
Yeah. No, I get it. So we'll throw this out real quick. So quickly going back to Vancouver and Minnesota, two inept teams right now, Andrew. I would probably throw a pizza slice on the 60-minute draw, and the game goes to overtime, plus 340. That's the only way I would look at that one if I had to take it. I just can't take a side. New Jersey, two bad games in a row for this team. They've allowed 13 goals to Colorado and the San Jose Sharks. You got to know that Sheldon Keefe is not happy with that. This team needs to rebound, and maybe the rebound against the LA Kings is what they do. So it's a nice buy low price on them. I think based on the fact that they've been taken advantage of the last couple of games. So Jersey for me, Chicago and Edmonton. I don't think you can really touch that one. You can look at I'm seeing the total right now is at 6 right now. A couple
That's a
books have
player prop game for
6.5.
me. That's all that's going to be.
So yeah, you can't lay 305 with Edmonton, and I get it. I think they're coming off a loss in OT. They got to get that power play working for them because it didn't work for them at the end of the game and even into overtime against the New York Rangers. But they'll get back into the win column. But I'm not willing to lay 300 to watch them do it. And then the final one, Seattle and the Rangers. The Rangers have started to put something together. Back-to-back wins in Edmonton and Vancouver. Mike, maybe they're finally buying into Mike Sullivan's, or maybe they're finally getting the puck luck that Brian Leonard always talks about, because they're creating the XG. The goals just weren't going in, and at least now they're starting to go in.
Well, and it goes to show too, Carm, what we've talked about a lot. Like you and I look at these numbers, we watch the games, of course, but you need to wait until the puck starts to go in. Then you can start using the XG in your favor. New York is doing that. For me, the way I'd approach this game, it would be New York money line first period. You talked about Montreal being a good first period team. Some of the games I've watched with this Seattle team, they seem to take some time before they get going. They don't really settle into games until later on, second period, and so on and so forth. So maybe New York is dialed in right now. They have a really hot start. And, JT Miller is starting to step things up as the captain of this Rangers team. Maybe things are all starting to settle in. So take a look at the Rangers. But I'm going to have a 3-pack of games up as my best bets. We're going to add more throughout the day, but looking forward to that. Looking forward to a big Saturday slate. It sounds like you and I both like the board. And you're going to have action as well, not just in NHL, but across multiple sports. So for me, it'll be NHL, CFL, and a couple NFL props, no sides or totals. What do you have going this weekend?
Yeah, kick it off early in the morning, 11 a.m. Eastern time. 3 Premier League games. They're all 4% plays, best bets. I really like them. International break starts next week. So let's end this week with 3 big soccer winners. NHL card. 2 or 3 games at the very least, but a 5% play loaded already up at WagerTalk. Take advantage of the best number sooner rather than later. A couple college football plays as well too, and then an NFL 3-pack for Sunday. So maybe the 3-day all access package and pick up everything Saturday, Sunday, and Monday 3 days of sports, action-packed for me.
Carm, for me, I'll tell you, I'm just hoping that when I take a tight end the next time in the NFL, the other tight end doesn't get all the yards. And I fell for the victim of having Mark Andrews as my big play on Thursday. But you're crushing it with the NFL, though, man. I hope people realize that you're doing a fantastic job with football and not just hockey and not just European football. And people can check out that special there with the Weekend Warrior. But as you and I always tell people, the 3-day all access is the way to go. And of course, if they want any questions answered, we're live on Puck Time, 11 a.m. Eastern every single day. So usually after some smaller slates, Carm and I will take some questions and we'll make sure to answer those for you guys. So Carm's got a big play locked and loaded Saturday. Don't miss it. And hopefully we can have a really, really good weekend. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Hit the like button on the way out. Subscribe to our channel. And make sure you follow Carmine and myself at WagerTalk.com. We'll see you next time.